It's called game.
Welcome along. Welcome to the Recreate Playroom. Welcome to the Cooldown Room. Joining us, we got Mike, Ash, and Vinyl to discuss all the action and mayhem of the Mexican Grand Prix.
Hello. Thanks for joining us, guys. Wow. Wow. What a race, guys.
Well, it was action-packed from the outset. First time we had a yellow flag. First corner, pre-first corner, going into the first corner. What do we think? 3 cars involved. Yuki, of course. Albon, I guess Gasly was involved too, although, didn't suffer any damage. But what do we think?
There's so much to unpack, hey. Like, starting with the accident, like, Yuki cannot catch a break. This guy must have so much pressure on him with Lawson on his heels, and he just shunts it to open up the race. I mean, not that it was his fault, but the pressure must be on that young man's neck right now. And then Albon taken out, just incidentally, just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe a little bit, I don't know if it was a little bit too aggressive from Yuki. There wasn't much room up there. There was a gap, but there wasn't much room. I don't know if he kind of put himself in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, and at the end of that, I think they were both just unlucky,
He's reeking of desperation. Do you know what I mean? There's just this air of desperation coming from him, and I can't blame him. I mean, the pressure is so high right now. He's, imagine going for a job or chasing a girl for 4 years, and in comes this Liam Lawson punk who, before he's even had a chance to get his seat warm, is being touted. I mean, now it seems like it's Liam's seat to lose, if anything. And Yuki has been, not that he's deserved it, but he's been working for it for 4 years. And this has to feel pretty shit, whether it's deserved or not.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think Mike's absolutely right in saying that, like, if you look at the cracks are starting to become maybe a chasm, like his mistake in Austin, just pinched the brake on the inside and spun into turn one. Obviously, turn one here didn't treat him well. Turn one last year didn't treat him well in Mexico, and just the cracks are starting to show in his armor, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to have a look at the clip? Shall we bring this up?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me bring it up.
I think as a side note, the other guy to mention in this conversation, when you say reeks of desperation, I think that adage more goes with Checo than anyone at the moment. Like, he had a horrible race.
So you guys seeing this?
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like,
yeah,
Gasly couldn't have known that Yuki was outside of Albon, and Gasly was just trying to get a bit of room.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things.
And at the front of the pack, let's get into that, I guess. I mean, so much happens here. I mean,
there was a couple of pre-bumps before the final accident that Yuki was making a couple of contacts with Albon.
Right.
And I mean, there was a little bit more curb on the outside. I mean, it's all very fine margins, as we're saying, but maybe he was just trying to he's just threading the needle too tight.
Yeah, I think so.
I sort of think it's like he's got to go for it. So either way, it's just a racing incident. I don't think it's Yuki's fault for having a go when there's a gap that wide, and he was in front by a fair bit too. So
right,
it's just unlucky. It's just unlucky that Gasly pinched Albon, and Albon had nowhere to go. If anything, maybe Albon could have backed out early, but like it's too fine a margin to call on that one.
So chaotic.
But at the same time, for Austin, I think Yuki was desperate. That's what sort of brought around his mistake. But this time, I don't think it was so much desperation. He's got a test with Red Bull at the end of the year, so
that's going to be fascinating.
He doesn't have to go all out. He just has to show what he's capable of, and then see if he can hold a candle to Lawson for the rest of the season.
Look at his qualifying mistake.
Sorry?
Look at his qualifying mistake. He missed
qualifying mistake
as well.
He messed up
Yeah.
Lawson for that as well. So yeah, that's true. Like he's under pressure, but I think like if he just like calms him down and puts it all into the basket for that Red Bull test at the end of the year, then yeah, he should be in good standing. I don't think he's as fast as Lawson over a race, but who knows? Maybe Lawson will be the kick in the ass that Yuki needs to really show what
Yeah.
he's got. If he's got anything left.
Yeah, good point.
And at the front of the pack, I mean, wow. Carlos goes off the track to get into the lead, but wisely gives it up, patiently gives it up, right? Unlike Landa, he learned from that, and the rest is history, right? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Racing brain.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Carlos is never very flustered. He always seems to plan ahead. You know what I mean? Always seems to be playing the long game.
Yeah.
And you know that's no mean feat to be neck and neck going into turn one, at starting in Mexico, right? Such a long run down to turn one with slipstreaming. He had a great start and he did really well to be neck and neck with Max. And did the right thing because it allowed him to control, when he gave the place back, so he could do it without losing, too much time. He could be right on his tail when he did give it back.
Yeah, good point.
It was just really well managed.
That's Carlos. He's smooth. He's smart, smooth
operator.
And to think that, he doesn't have a top end seat next year when he's held his own against all of these alpha dog drivers whenever he's been matched up against them, be it Lando, Charles. This was a real statement race for him, I felt. Like, not necessarily a Webber, not bad for a number 2 driver. This was, hey, you guys might have picked the wrong guy between he and Charles, right? Like, I think this was his moment. Not that I agree with that. I would have chosen Charles because he is the more upside of the drivers, but this was as definitive. This was his moment. You know what I mean? I felt good for him with this one. I was happy for him. Sorry to jump ahead of topics, but yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah,
one of the good guys.
I couldn't agree more. But yeah, and I think just really good racecraft. Didn't get flustered when Max, threw in the inevitable, really aggressive move.
Oh my god! We got to get
played
into
it really
that.
well.
Yeah, lap 12. So Lando and Max, that coming together. Lando's quote on the radio: "This guy is dangerous." Right? What do we think of that, guys? Far out. Ooh. 20-second
Lando
penalty.
played it smart, man. He played it smart. I think Lando did a really good job in knowing what Max was going to do. Said all the right things on the radio and said all the right things after the race as well. So I was really impressed with how he took it all on. And it's like Max is trying to bully Lando and make Lando have second thoughts every time he wants to go for a move. But Lando's not buying into that. He knows that game and he's playing it really, really smartly, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of felt like I agree that he played it smart, but I kind of wanted Lando to be a little bit less polite. You know what I mean? To say something that send a message to stewards like this guy. We've seen it before. When he's under pressure in a championship, he's going to do whatever it takes to stay ahead. It's not about him winning; it's about everybody else losing, right? And I kind of wanted Lando to be a bit more pissed. Instead, you could see the respect and the affection almost between the two of them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Lando
I
mean enough?
like
Is he tough enough? Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I like that.
Okay.
It's like a smart, confident. He knows he's got a good chance of winning the championship.
More maturity.
He's just got to keep on doing stuff like this. And if Max is going to have double thoughts about doing this sort of stuff again, if he's going to get 20. So it's a great outcome for Lando. He got more points on Max than he needed to, I think, to make up the deficit. And also it's the smart game, like off the track, like the psych battle. He's not being bullied by Max. He's really I was really impressed.
Yeah,
like I think the way that Estella and Lando are going about, with their after race comments, it's impressive for me.
Do you think the penalty was a bit harsh, or were they sending everybody expected 5 seconds for sure, given last week's precedent? Were they sending a message with this 10-second penalty? Was it like, Max, we've seen you do this. You're not doing it again. Don't be a bully, Max. What do you think?
I reckon both incidents were heaps different.
Mm,
I reckon he should have got a more severe penalty for the second one.
yeah.
I thought the second one was pretty reckless and almost like bad sportsmanship. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was like he was really
Oh, hard.
angry,
Yeah, he
and
was.
was
Yeah,
just like,
it's
well, I'm just going to
outrageous.
drive. He was literally just, I'm just going to drive you off the track. That's exactly what he did. Like,
Yeah,
what else was he doing? He was never going to make the corner.
yeah.
It was
Like,
Brazil style, right? It was
I
like
thought it
from
was pretty
Brazil.
disgusting, that second one.
Wow. Yeah.
I thought the first one, the stewards were making a point
Mm,
by saying he forced him off the track because he
mm,
had the
mm, mm.
corner, but he didn't leave any room and he could have left room. And it was actually slower for him, I think, to force Lando off and out wide than actually take the corner and drive as quickly as he could. I think he clearly forced him off, and I think that was fair enough. I think that was a fair point, It's not just about being first at the corner. Like,
Yeah.
it's more than that.
I mean, if anything, maybe it wasn't harsh enough. What's the lesson here? I mean, for Max, he might be feeling, well, if it comes down to it, I'm doing this shit again because I can't afford to lose this championship. So 20 seconds, I can make that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's the cost to benefit analysis for him in his mind? He's thinking, I just can't let this guy get ahead of me. It's worth
Yeah.
risking this kind of behavior. I don't know. I just feel like he's really pushing the envelope here. He's really towing the line in terms of behavior. I've got a clip here if you guys want to check it out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Have a
Let's.
look.
I don't think we've got the re-entry, but we'll see. Tell us what we're
So
looking at.
what was the point where Max said it was Lando said it was dangerous? That after the second incident, right? Because the second incident was
It was
dangerous. Like
ridiculous.
Max was never making the corner. He
Yeah, he
came,
was just
only had half a car, didn't have a full overlap, and
yeah,
basically, as you said, forced the other driver clearly off the road. And was
Yeah.
never going to make the corner himself. Yeah, I think that was
yeah.
very agreed.
Even
That
there,
was the
he's run him out. Like, he's clearly run him out. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't need to be at that wide, Max, on the exit.
based on their position at the apex, Lando deserved the car width on
The
the
ro-
outside.
The room, yeah, that's right.
Mm, I think
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the second part here, is it? No, this is still the first.
This is after. So this is
This is
after he
after,
comes
yeah.
back. Yeah, after Charles gets ahead.
Okay.
Never going to make the corner.
Oof.
Yeah, and that shows it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
That
Like,
was brutal.
it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
it's almost
that was dangerous.
unsportsmanlike conduct. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
true.
there isn't really an excuse for that kind of move.
What?
Yeah.
There was
You said-
contact. Like, I don't know.
No, I agree.
And that corner's
Just
never an
back
overtaken
up.
opportunity anyway. Like
Yeah,
the cars
it
were
was
closely
just-
matched. Like, it was never going to have a difference unless one was
That
in
was
like
just pure
an
anger,
Asia
right?
Tech
That was-
Minardi or something like that.
Yeah, that was just fury. Max was just furious and just being crazy.
I like this Max. This Max is so entertaining. This crazy Max.
Well, Max,
I don't approve of it,
Max in a
but
slower
shit.
car. Max in a slower car racing other people is heaps entertaining. Like, it
Yeah.
levels the playing field.
He's
Not that
yeah,
entertaining.
he's cutthroat. He's and that's what we've always admired about the great drivers in the sport, the Senners and the Schumachers. But this is crossing the line, I think, as well.
Yeah.
By the same token, that's what the criticism of those drivers is they take it too far sometimes.
Yeah, I remember when like at Spa when Raikkonen had issues with Max on the straight.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and and it's going to keep happening. I think we all know what we just want is consistency from the stewards, right?
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
got it right this week. I think they didn't get it right the last two races. Like, I think there's a really good case to be made for having professional stewards that not
Full
just
time that travel the
Yeah.
world.
that are accountable. You lose your job if you make a shit call. We get someone else. Like, I don't know. I think
Well,
there's a
We
real
just, need,
case.
we just
for
need 4 volunteers for that. Are we volunteering?
that. Yeah,
I think the way they review incidents, because there's so much shit happening on the track with the 5 of them, is that they'll get 2 independent stewards to review it. If there's a difference of opinion, then they'll get a third, while the other 2 are keeping their eye on the track. And so when you've only got 2 sets of eyes looking at it for an initial review, the variance is just so high. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we get inconsistency, because Yeah, I agree that we need a board or a panel rather than just two eyes at a time. And yeah,
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, though, it does add unpredictability to F1 in terms of like decision
Yeah.
making. So you
Yeah.
don't really like we don't have reliability issues anymore, but we have stewarding issues. So that's
The
another
reliability of the stewards.
yeah, it's a coin toss every time. You don't know what you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
it's
It's
it
awesome.
sort of adds that, unknown dimension to it as well. Not that
Right.
it's a good thing, but if it's your guy getting screwed over in terms of
But it
And
seems like
this race, we
yeah,
have Jean-Marie Balestre as special guest.
Yeah.
it
Well,
just
it was
seems
Johnny
like
Herbert.
every
Johnny
time there's an
Herbert.
Yeah,
incident,
Herbert was,
it's
yeah.
everyone's just
You
waiting
don't
to
like
see what
Max?
happens. Yeah, so um, I think the next
Yeah.
incident that we have chronologically is lap 18. Shall we have a look at that?
Yeah. What's
Lap
this
18.
idiot doing?
Oh, this is so funny. Okay, let's see.
I secretly liked it how he blocked Perez from the rejoin. He's like, "Well, I'm on the racing line. You're all four
Yeah,
wheels on.
exactly.
It's up to you to rejoin safely. I'm not going to move over and just give you half a car width to rejoin safely because it's your rejoin, not mine, buddy."
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Really good, tough racing.
Can the fans also give us translation to this word? Pinche dura. Levuna una pinche dura. That isn't nice. I'm pretty sure it means like little shit. Because
My God. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then we get the Lawson retake and the finger up. Take that.
Yeah.
Take that. As good as you
Yeah,
can
it
get
was-
for a middle finger at that kind of speed.
I get it. It's not go-karting. Yeah. I thought Lawson was a bit clumsy when he ran into Perez, but should have given it up a bit earlier.
Mm.
I thought the Colapinto was a bit more clumsy than the Perez incident. I thought the Perez incident was hard, but fairish.
I sort of ran into him.
Yeah, I thought
Took it
Perez
off a
came
bit
from a
of his
long way
fault.
back, man. I thought it was a bit just clunky from both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a clunky move from Checo, and Lawson was like, "Well, I'm not just going to let you force me off and go past me, so I'm going to go back on the track and force you wide." Like, I don't know, it was just a bit of like elbows out from both of them. It was a bit.
They are both definitely racing each other differently, right? Like,
Yeah,
Lawson's
definitely.
comment was, "Is he serious?" Perez is, "What is this idiot doing?"
Yeah.
Lawson copped it from Marco afterwards.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did, because he
Yeah.
wrecked Perez's floor.
He wrecked Checo's race
Man,
because of the
Perez
damage.
wrecked his own race, bro.
Oh,
Well,
He
he was
lines
so
up on the
unlucky.
grid. He lines up on the grid, out of position. He gets knocked out in Q1. Perez, bro.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
But-
Perez
On
for
the
a bit?
grid, he was in a
That's-
different postcode.
Yeah.
That
Let's
start
talk
was
about Perez for a bit,
amazing.
yo. Come on.
His
Perez.
start was amazing. His
Yeah,
reflex
yeah.
when the top light goes out to when he dropped the throttle in the pickup,
But that's-
apart from being out of the box, it was
Apart from
Oh,
being out
apart
the
from that
box.
minor point of being out the box.
It was like the best you could possibly do, man. I was like so
Oh.
impressed with the reaction time and
You're an
the launch,
apologist.
everything.
He's a Checo
Yeah,
apologist.
but
here.
that's Checo, man. That's
it wasn't an
Checo.
apology. It was just a great start. Just to
Okay.
say he was out of the box. It was
But what a
brilliant
rough
start.
weekend for Checo, man. His home race, when all is on the line, and his performance all weekend.
It's horrible, man.
How
It's like a car,
horrible.
it's like watching a car crash. It's horrible.
Good call.
Slow motion, man. It was just
Yeah.
a horrible,
also his-
horrible weekend.
The way that he told him on the radio that he was in front of his pit box, and he basically denied it, saying, "No, it's impossible. Like, he couldn't possibly be in front of the pit box."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You were," and he couldn't. It didn't sink in.
Delusion.
How far over was he? A lot? Like really
A
bad?
lot, like a
A
meter.
lot.
Yeah. And there's no excuses for that, man. Like,
Yeah, and then I think Natalie Pinkham afterwards, was asking, I think it was Brundle, going, "Couldn't he be just put in reverse and just reverse backwards?" And Martin Brundle's just like in horror, going, "You cannot reverse on the grid under any circumstance during a start procedure." She's
Oh,
like,
really?
"Oh, okay, he couldn't have put it in reverse then." There's no backup cameras in these ones either, Natalie.
There's no I haven't got clips of that, but it was way out of position from what I recall.
Okay.
yeah. And you're right, Ash. It was a great start, but that's just kind of Checo at the moment. Like, he does something good, he's going to do something shit to negate it. Like, he just can't have a good race, a good weekend, a good quali. You just can't put it together.
Yeah, it's just his qualifying so disappointing. It's always a standout of just misery. It's just bad qualifying. Can't string it together.
Yeah.
I like Piastri put a race together considering the qualifying position.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he had a good race.
Yeah, finished. Sorry.
Interesting for him was that he wasn't coming through the field early. I'm thinking, oh, well, what's going on? Like he was still behind, the stakes for a few laps, and he was just cruising. But it's because he was just preserving his tires. Like he's always been criticised for going too hard.
On the mediums.
Too hard too early, so he just paced himself. He was patient, I think honestly McLaren were disappointed he didn't get K-Mag. I think they were hoping that he was gonna at least finish behind Max from about halfway. I think that's where they were expecting, but I think K-Mag just did too good a job.
I think his role becomes so critical now, closing the season as the rear gunner to Lando. I mean, now it's he's the only one between Lando and Max, really. So he needs to finish higher up the board in qualifying, and he needs to protect Lando if they're going to have a shot, at getting the drivers. His role is, he can be a real hero for the rest of the season, I think, but it's up to him.
Yeah. Well, ironically,
in both battles,
yeah.
Ironically, talking about Checo before, he's going to be remembered for his brilliant slow driving at Abu Dhabi. He's going to be his legacy. Helping Max get that championship of actually driving slowly to help get a championship. It's a bit ironic, but
Minister of Defense.
Yeah. Checo was an animal.
Yeah, man.
You reckon he's out? Alonso and Hamilton in Hungary?
What's that, Ash?
Yeah.
You reckon Checo's out at the end of the year?
Checo's out, man. Checo's
He'd be
out.
lucky. He'd be lucky if he might not even see the year out, man. He keeps coming last. He keeps coming last.
Who will they throw in Lawson or they bring back Ricardo?
No, they put Lawson in.
Swap them around. What a demotion. How that would just break his spirit, dude. But
put Lawson in and give actually what they should do is put Carlos in.
Wow.
That's who they should sign, man.
Yeah,
Carlos
he's
great number two. He would be a great number two for Verstappen. He's like a team guy. He doesn't
all over again.
He puts the points up when the team needs them. Like, he's there whenever Charles isn't. He doesn't.
He's a team man. He's would be the perfect number two. He's consistent. He's quick.
Professional, man.
Professional. He's not gonna, get into a fight with Max because he's too nice a guy. I don't know. I just think that would be the perfect number two.
Wow, all I'm thinking here is Carlos Rubens Sainz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be like that.
I don't think Liam is quite ready yet or deserving, and it'd be premature. But then again, we're seeing Kimi in a freaking Merc next year. So I agree with that. I'd like to see Carlos get rewarded with that seat. I reckon that's fitting and fair. We want to see the best drivers in the best cars.
That's what I mean. And we're not at the moment. Checo shouldn't be there. Checo is not one of the best drivers anymore. Has been, but is not.
Has Carlos got a clause in his contract with Williams that if a seat opens up with another team, he can still get out of it? Is that?
Don't know. I think there is a performance clause, but I don't know if there's a for Williams, but I don't know about.
Like if Red Bull offers Carlos a contract, can he just cancel his Williams thing?
I'm sure he can, or at least
Marco.
be bought out.
You know what, Marco will just pay it out.
Well, then they should. They should.
Pinto is talking to Red Bull right now, trying to ease the seat for Carlos.
Yeah. And don't forget, man, it's Williams. It's not going to be that much money.
A couple of biscuits and a stamp. You can have him.
Sorry, James.
Give us 5 minutes and look at your aero package, and you can have him. That's what the deal will be.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's right.
And let Horner have a go at some of your interns. That's what the trade do.
You got me kind of depressed. I really want that to happen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Carlos and Max.
I was going to say, is Antonelli going to get beaten up a bit next year? First year in F1 in a Mercedes. Are they going to going up on him?
Russell will.
First few races.
Russell will.
Yeah.
That's a tough seat for a rookie, man. Far out. Have we ever seen a rookie get dropped in to a seat that prestigious and that, with that much pressure?
Well, Lewis Lewis, I guess, at Lewis at
McLaren.
McLaren.
Yeah.
But not many. Like even
Not many,
Max was
hey.
at Toro Rosso. You know, like
Yeah. At least he had some time to get acclimatized.
Piastri started in McLaren that was
The
back at the
sharks are
grid.
going to be out for this kid, for
Yeah,
sure.
What do you think other drivers will be? I'm pretty sure the other drivers won't treat him too badly. I'm thinking Russell will. Russell won't hold back at
Yeah.
I
all.
don't know. I think
He'll definitely
every
want to-
driver
he'll
on the
want to
paddock
bury-
will
he'll
want
to
that
bury
job.
Antonelli.
I think
He
a lot of
knows
Oh,
drivers.
of course, man. That's a big deal, man. Russell's like, man, you know how long we've been waiting to get this fucking number one seat? Like, if this guy's quicker than me, it's
Yeah,
all over. So, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's big.
Because
It'll be big.
if he loses to Antonelli, then where does he go after that? He's going to be a number 2 at Merck to a youngster.
He can't.
And his prospect
That's the
afterwards,
answer.
Yeah, well, his
can't.
trajectory is.
You cannot
he'll
lose
be-
to the cheaper, younger, less experienced driver as a.
Yeah.
You
Then there's a
can't.
straight swap with Williams and Carlos,
Yeah.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Going home.
Yeah. What happened
Yeah,
next in the
it's
race? It
interesting.
was so it was Carlos at 1, Leclerc at 2, and then Norris at 3, and I think the lockup, right?
Yeah. Norris was
Incredible lockup.
hunting down the Ferraris with a few laps to go. And yeah, that big final corner moment for Charles.
Okay, I think I got some footage here. Just bear with me.
Can we agree we're all just amazed it wasn't in the barrier? That high speed
How close
loss
was
of group was
that
incredible.
wall? Like just ended at the right time. That
Wow.
near a wall, like just
Yeah.
there, like
And the marshals stood back. The marshals literally
Yeah.
recoiled back from the wall, thinking he was going to hit it.
Incredible reflexes. I mean, it was a mistake, but as spectacular as a mistake as you can have.
yeah.
Just getting on the gas so hard, trying to keep it going.
Well, that pressure from the faster car behind, just trying to eke everything out, all the pace out of it. But
Because
I think they'd be pretty disappointed not to get 1-2 Ferrari here.
Yeah. But I think at that point, Charles knew that was the straight where Lando had the DRS and was was going to pass him on that straight anyway. So it was the last ditch attempt at trying to keep him behind, at least on that lap.
Yeah, right.
A bit too much. But hey, Ferrari going well, man. They're clawing back on the constructors against McLaren, so
1-2 and a 1-3. I mean, Ferrari could take the constructors, right?
It's only
They're
30
only if they keep
points.
this form up, they're the quickest car at the moment.
And this is
Like-
Red Bull giving up McLaren and Ferrari for the constructors. That's not good.
yeah.
Well, I'm saying it's the first time since I think PK in the Brabham when the guys won the championship and the constructors come third.
Wow.
Last time was PK in a Brabham when he was world champion.
They should put that on Checo's resume, dude. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But the teammate battle, speaking of Checo versus Verstappen, they're getting interesting, right? We got Sainz versus Leclerc, George versus Lewis, K-Mag versus Hulk, and it was all that way up and down the paddock. It seemed like the teammates were right up against each other all weekend.
Yeah.
So,
It was really interesting.
Russell and Hamilton in 4th and 5th. Hamilton got ahead
That
of
was an
Russell.
epic battle.
Let's
That
talk
went
about
on
that.
for a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah. And George with the old spec, like without the upgrades
Yes,
after his
true.
crash. So
He had a good
yeah, it was
race,
interesting.
George. He had a good race for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Held
interesting how his
Hamilton
front
up
wing
for a
was
long
gone.
time.
Mercedes weren't doing
Sorry.
Hamilton any favors, so for him to get it must have felt good. I mean, although he got the spec car, still, I was
Yeah,
impressed.
yeah.
It was good to see him up there. And
Yeah,
then
it was good.
the next battle, I think, was K-Mag versus Hulkenberg. So
Yeah, K-Mag just had it's been Hulk all year, but K-Mag just had the pace all weekend, I think. Just quicker. Maybe it was just the track came to him, but yeah, he was quicker than Hulk all weekend and looked it in the race, he was ahead of him, but they weren't, Hulk never looked like he was going to get him.
K-Mag had a good gap on him most of the race. He's got no seat, eh? He's out, isn't he?
Magnussen's gone, yeah.
That sucks, man. That really sucks. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I like K-Mag. But
So-
again, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's one of
Only
those
bad
guys
Ocon
had
youth.
Yeah. Yeah, just I really like him. Really likable character, but I feel like he's had his.
He's had a good career. Yeah.
But was he on? Did he get a podium in?
Got a podium in first race.
On his debut?
No.
Yeah, Albon Park.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. And his only podium, right? That was it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's pretty sad. Podium on debut.
He's got
10
a
years
pole
later.
position as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Brazil.
Was that Brazil? Yeah.
Brazil, first one out.
So
Yeah.
he's got one up on Hulkenberg for the podium. Hulkenberg, I think, has Hulkenberg got a pole way back in the Williams days? No?
I don't think so.
I think
Let me Google that for you.
Actually, I think Hulkenberg went pole on Brazil one year in Williams.
He did.
Was that Heidfeld?
Oh, yeah. I
don't know.
Wonder about Hulkenberg if he's got a pole. I'm pretty sure he has, but I can't confirm.
Brazil. Williams.
Brazil, yeah.
Williams,
Memory,
yeah.
Mike. 2010.
Hmm.
I'm like the Jamie of the pit crew here. Looking up the stats. Happy to do it.
All right, guys. So, shall we recap where we're at in the constructors?
Yeah, sounds good.
Closing in. Only 4 races to go. McLaren obviously still in front. What do they got? 566.
Yep.
Mhm.
Ferrari move ahead of Red Bull, 537, and Red Bull down on 512.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Red Bull's moving up anywhere.
No.
No one's really moving anywhere except maybe Racing Bulls and Haas. There's 10 points in it, so but Haas are looking quicker, right? So
Haas are looking fantastic.
more likely that Haas
overperformed.
could catch. Haas could catch Aston possibly if they keep having good results.
Yeah, I mean,
Possible.
2 top
10
10
race.
finishes this last weekend. I mean, that's
they
really,
only pick up a couple of points for the
Yeah.
bottom of the top 10.
sure. But they are overperforming given, preseason expectations and
Yeah,
what
they've
they've
done really
performed
well.
in the last few seasons. So Komatsu, props to you. Golf clap. He's
Totally
turned
Gazoo
that,
Racing.
he's turned that
at the
team
right
around, right?
I had a hat.
Maybe not the same entertainment value that we got out of Gunter, but they are performing quietly and really well. Like you can't discount them.
Yeah, no, I
Mike,
couldn't
can you look
agree
up
more.
how many points of Aston Martin belong to Alonso and how many belong to the Prince?
Oh yeah. Okay, so
What?
the Prince.
What?
Okay, Alonso has 62 out of the 86, and the Prince, the rest 24.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those in the last few races.
I think that's the
yeah.
biggest disparity between teammates on the grid, and only 40, only 86 points in it. But that's the biggest disparity, other than Red Bull and Max and Thingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Team Haas is coming for Aston Martin if K-Mag and Hulkenberg can gang up on Alonso.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were nowhere, right? Alonso was sad for him. We didn't mention his 400th
400th Grand Prix.
race.
I know,
Race.
right? I mean, the other team worth noting is Alpine, the nowhere team of the season, really. Given the budget, given the drivers, 14 points, second last, ahead of only Sauber with nothing. We haven't even talked about them all year, and for good reason.
I mean, they failed the crash test at the start of the pre-season, and they were so horrendously overweight coming in. So I think they've actually done pretty well. They were so far behind coming in to start the season.
Right.
So far off the pace. Gasly, was he Q3 last 2 races? I think
he was 8th in the last race.
I think he was like 8th or
and 10th in the last race.
Yeah,
10th
I
as
think
well.
maybe the last
Finished
2 he's been in. Yeah. So Gasly's been looking good. Like he's been hustling, putting some work in.
Outperforming the car, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Certainly outperforming Ocon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of faded.
Yeah, Ocon. No
He'll
way.
be happy though, going to Haas, seeing their upward trend. He'll be like, yeah, buddy.
Well, he'd be very happy, man. He's
Yes.
one of the lucky guys, man, I reckon. Next year.
Him and Lewis.
He's pretty
will be
lucky to get a seat,
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
true. Eh?
And how's Hulkenberg feeling?
Yeah, I reckon Hulk will be all right. I don't know. I think who knows what. I don't think Audi are going to be competitive next year, but 26. Who knows with the new regulations? They might be able to pull something out of the bag. I don't know. Hard to say. But
Let's
yeah,
look
I
at the,
reckon Haas will be thinking. I was just going to say, I think Haas will be thinking, I wish we waited a little bit longer before we signed Ocon, because they could have got Colapinto maybe, or, you know, all these young guys look so quick now. But anyway.
Let's have a quick look at the lineups for 25, right? And say, in one word, who we think is going to win the matchup, okay? Or if the driver would be gone, right? Verstappen, Perez.
Verstappen.
Well, it's only going to be Verstappen.
Okay. Mercedes, Russell, Kimi.
Russell.
Yeah.
Russell.
Ferrari, Leclerc, Hamilton.
Leclerc.
Hamilton.
Leclerc.
I'm going to say Hamilton.
Leclerc.
But yeah, Leclerc. Okay. Aston Martin, we got Stroll v Alonso.
Duh. Come on, man.
Come on, man. That's not even. Sorry.
Adrian Newey's the winner.
Yeah, it depends if Adrian designs 2 cars or 1 car. That's what it depends on.
We've homologated 2 separate vehicles for Aston Martin.
McLaren, Lando versus Piastri.
Yeah, interesting. Lando. I think Lando, but I think it'll be closer.
Yeah.
Alpine, Gasly versus Doohan.
Gasly.
Gasly. But I think Doohan will impress. I think Doohan will have a good season. I don't think Gasly. I think Gasly will beat him, but I think people will be impressed. I think he'll score some points.
This is a good matchup. Albon versus Sainz for Williams.
Carlos will kill him.
Yeah, I think Carlos will really make a meal out of Albon.
Carlos is going to murder him.
Yeah, I think so.
Albon hasn't had a teammate since Colapinto, and Colapinto's wiping the floor with him. So, you know, Colapinto's scored more points in his, 4 races or something than
5.
Sargent and Latifi. Sargent and Latifi combined in their 60-something Grand Prix. So,
he's outscored Albon since he's arrived. Albon has 12 points, Colapinto has 5.
Colapinto, man. He's a gun.
He's a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Haas, Behrman v Ocon.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting. I think it'll be interesting. I reckon Ocon will try and
Ocon
crash into him as many times as he can. I don't know. Man.
He's got children to think about.
Looking quicker.
Has he?
If Beeman's looking quicker,
it's just Ocon's
through.
He's a child. I have to kill him.
Yeah.
Okay, Steak. Nico v. Who's Hulkenberg? He's got the other seat.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. Who's going to get that seat?
Isn't the rumor the non-Colapinto? Who's the other guy who's young? That's rumoring.
The Brazilian.
Hadja?
No, Hadja.
Hadja's Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's not Porsche. It's someone. But
yeah. What happened to Porsche, man?
Drugovic?
Not Drugovic. There was
Okay, well,
this guy Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg will beat nobody. Yeah,
that's right.
And Cash App RB. It's Yuki versus who's going to take the other seat?
Which part of the
assuming it's
Liam?
Yuki and Liam still. Assuming it's Yuki and Liam still.
Yeah.
I think they're. I don't know. Like I think probably Liam, but
I think
it won't be easy.
Yeah.
Yuki's good. It'll be close, I think, and I think they'll be on track. A lot of on-track battles between those two.
Yeah, they're an exciting pairing. I like that. So Yuki has 22, and Liam Lawson has 2 points, but I haven't got the head-to-head qualifying in front of me.
Yeah.
Well, he beat Yuki, I think, when he replaced Ricciardo.
Yeah, he's been stronger, hasn't he?
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
So Lando closes the gap now. It's 47 points, 4 races left. What's happening, boys?
Well, Charles is close to Lando too, you know. I think
Charles
Lando's
is at 291, yeah.
Lando's going to close on Max, but he's not going to catch him, in my opinion. I don't think he'll catch him, but I think the Ferraris are looking really quick. Like I can see Charles getting some points off
Yeah, I can
Lando.
see Charles coming second, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if Lando is Lando cutthroat enough to take this. I mean, 6 pole positions, 5 of them he gave up at the first corner.
I mean,
what does that say? You know what I mean? Like, Damn.
Oh yeah, but you
Does
could
he
talk about
deserve to be a champion?
Charles's winning record from pole
Yeah,
as well.
and neither are champions. So does you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
to me, I just feel like
Um,
like maybe Lando needs to learn to lose a championship before he can win one, and this isn't the year. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
This is not the year. I'm pretty sure this is not the
Yeah.
year. Also, McLaren have made some questionable calls. Like
yeah,
Piastri's taken points off Lando. I mean, you could say that if they were all in on Lando, Lando might be ahead right now. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think back to Chris's point, like with Leclerc's poles, I think that was more him out driving the car and dragging it to pole than having a great car that he couldn't convert
Yeah.
in the box. You know, like those,
Yeah, I think that's a fair
the
point.
times he just wore out the Ferrari's rear tires in about 8 laps, but managed to get the thing on pole.
Yeah,
True.
that's a good point.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be exciting. It could. I mean, a couple DNF and a couple of second place finishes. If Lando wins, it's right there coming into Abu Dhabi. Who knows? I just want it to be that exciting. I guess.
Yeah, we all do, man.
2021.
I'm willing it.
Here we come.
I'm willing it to happen.
Yeah.
And the other team battles are pretty close as well. Like, like Lewis and George, they're close. The B drivers, sorry, Piastri and Sainz. Sorry, I didn't say that. They're 11 points different. So, yeah, I mean, there's some movement to be had.
Yeah, some really exciting battles. Hey, Piastri v Sainz, that's a good one. 251 for Piastri versus 240 for Sainz.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be great. And they're like Brazil's great track, always really interesting.
Race as well, Brazil.
Often weather. Yeah, sprint weekend as well. You're right.
Extra points to be had.
So what is the sprint? Is it Brazil and Vegas? Is there 2 sprints left still?
Let me
Or is it
find
just
out.
one? I thought there was 2 left. I don't think it would be Qatar or Abu Dhabi, right?
No.
Yeah, Qatar has one. Brazil has one. No Texas.
Oh, Qatar.
No Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. Okay, so Qatar and Brazil.
Is it just
Yeah,
me? Does
interesting.
anyone else get their mind into knots when they watch Brazil, trying to figure out where the old track went? There's always bits of track
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
going on the outside, on the inside, like,
Well, the year that Kimi went off the track and couldn't get back. Like he was on the old track.
Yeah. That's
You would agree
right.
with that.
There used to be like a gate. You kept driving, and then there was just like a closed gate.
I
It's
made
like,
my
oh.
own track.
It's a no-through road.
That was a good year.
Yeah. Lewis is already in his Brazil state of mind. It's like his second home, acting all like, these are my
I'm sure.
people. These are my
I'm the
people.
next center.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting into it.
He should be fired up for that, man.
Yeah, he always is. He loves Brazil and he always performs pretty well there.
Hey, how did our predictions go? Remember you asked last time? 1, 2, and 3 for the race. I know I was nowhere.
No one had Ferrari 1, 2, 3. It was all Max, Lando, and Charles, but not in the order that ended out.
No one
right?
got it.
No one had Carlos. That's for sure. We'll have to look back on that, but we should have a leaderboard next year where we make
We
predictions
should. Yeah, we'll have like a
and
like
see
a
how we go
top-
each
Yeah.
week. Yeah, like a fantasy F1 type thing. We'll do that and try and
Absolutely.
involve the listeners too. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So let's make some picks then for Brazil, boys. Fuck, because we're good at it.
Yeah.
far out.
What do you think, Chris? Who you got?
Look, it's
You
so
need to think
hard.
about
like,
it?
Yeah. Look, I don't know if I was just going to pull something off the top of my head.
I'm gonna go.
I'd say
Okay.
I'm hoping Lando to keep the championship alive, keep it
Mm,
interesting.
mm. I'm gonna get 2. Who you got for 2?
Let's say Lando, Charles, Max.
Okay, I'm gonna write these down this time.
Oh, you don't have to.
Lando, Charles, Max. All right, who you got, Ash?
I'll remind you of my tips once the results are in.
I'm gonna put Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc.
Wow. Okay, who you got, Mike?
that was exactly what I was going to say. Hamilton.
Oh.
Well, you're allowed to
Okay,
say
Mike.
the same there. You just don't win as much.
I'll
All right.
share. I can share.
I'm gonna go Lando, Piastri, Max.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Fuck Max. I'm gonna put Lewis. I'm gonna out there. Yeah, I reckon Max isn't gonna finish third. If he's gonna finish anywhere up there, he'll finish. He'll push to get second or first. You know what I mean? He won't accept
He'll push
anything
to get off
less.
the road, other
Yeah.
drivers to get first
He'll
or
be
second.
like, if I can't win, no one else can.
Yeah.
Mike, as long as you can give us a replay of the classic Vettel versus Leclerc Ferrari incident at Brazil for next season, for next podcast. That was incredible. Vettel's reaction to himself moving on the straight to why they came together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Absolutely.
We'll have
How
that
did this
queued up.
happen? I moved on the straight and we crashed.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'll queue that up for next week.
Okay. Amazing.
Anything else we need to touch on, boys?
Just going to go back to Verstappen. Like, does he really need to be so aggressive now? Does he just need to just hold it on?
Nah.
He doesn't need to do this.
He doesn't need to.
He didn't need to be so aggressive against Norris for the last race. And
He just needs to finish each race, let the car finish where it should finish, and he'll win it. You know what I mean? And he'll come off looking good too, rather than the arsehole that everybody thinks he is. You know?
Schumacher version 2. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. I think the team is going to speak to him. They're going to go, look, seems like the stewards have decided that, you know,
Yeah.
if you're going to defend and you're going to
Good
hang
call.
someone out wide, you're going to get a penalty. So, you know, sometimes it's probably more prudent just to let him go. Like,
Yeah.
rather than losing 30 seconds in a, you know, or 40 seconds having to come into the pits and have a penalty.
They're
Like,
watching you,
just let him
Max.
go, man.
Boys, what if we see some sweet, sweet Brazil irony and Perez is in front of Max going into the last part of the race? They ask Perez to pull over, let Max get a few points.
Let it be so. Let it be so. Let the gods of F1 write that. That would be so poetic.
Perez needs it, that's for sure.
Let it be so. Let's will it
one guy,
into happening.
He definitely needs a good race. He really needs a good race.
He does, eh?
Oh,
He's been needing a good race for a while, man.
Perez should
I
quote
almost
Max
think
on
it
the
doesn't matter
radio
anymore. Like,
and say, "Don't ask me again."
Yeah.
We've been through this. Do not ask me again. True that.
I wonder how his contract's worded. Like, what's the performance clauses in there? Has he already blown that? Yeah,
I think so. Seems like the way they're all talking, it's like, oh, we're going to give him a few more races on tracks he really likes and he's always done well at, and it's been worse. Like,
Yeah.
sounds very similar to Ricardo. The same sort of talk.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like, mate, we're giving you guys all the chances in the world. Like, we want one of you guys to have this fucking great car.
They just haven't
But
got
he's just
anyone
not
to
good
put in
enough.
the seat. Otherwise, he'd be gone, you know?
Yeah.
It's a simple, no one available for the job, but he's clearly losing it, which is sad.
Yeah.
It wasn't so long ago that he was, you know, it was the feel-good story of him getting that seat, right?
Yeah.
When he had nowhere to go.
First effort.
Yeah.
I wonder if Daniel Kvyat's still writing letters to Marco. Hey, remember me?
Oh, yeah. Let them share a seat and custody over their children. That'd be fantastic. He and Max. That'll be awesome drama.
Dude,
Drive to Survive episodes coming straight up.
Oh, man.
Oh, brutal.
You can have the faster car, but I don't want you holding my baby like that. Far out, man.
The cameraman in the
Shunted.
pit's focusing on the wags.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Shall we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
I think so, guys. It was a good sesh.
Yeah, good sesh, guys. Thank you.
boys.
See you in
It was fun,
Brazil,
though.
everybody.
Yeah.
See you in Brazil.
Look forward to it.
All right.
Adios, amigos.
All right.
Yes.